Push the weight in the flex. Flex the livest one in the section. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga, woof. I'm a 88 pack nigga, woof. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. It's time to bleed. Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Batman, what's good with you, brother?
Man, cool, man.
No diggity doubt, man. Waiting on Trick Noty to fold up in the building, but right now, our guest, Charles Brewer, man. What's good, sir?
Uh-huh.
Not much. We cool, man. We finna talk this boxing, man. Thank you for sliding through. That's much appreciated, man. Much appreciated. Let everybody know who exactly you are.
I am Charles the Hatchet Brewer, former IBF super middleweight champion, reigning from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia, Philly, man. Y'all pump out some really, really good fighters out of there.
Absolutely.
Really, really good fighters, man. Really, really good fighters, man. All right, so let's get to it, man. The basic questions. How'd you get started in the sport of boxing?
Believe it or not, well, the neighborhood that I grew up in, and I'm from North Philly in Philadelphia. North Philadelphia is one of the toughest areas of Philadelphia. And so coming up as a kid, I'm talking about 7, 8 years old. I wasn't the bravest of children, so I wanted to learn how to defend myself, and so what ended up happening was my mother ended up taking me to the 23rd pound to help me get some self-defense skill sets. And I ended up remaining there from age of about 8 off and on because they had other activities that you could improve yourself in, table tennis, things like that, baseball. But I stuck, at least tried to stick with the boxing. Off and on up until the age of about 14. At the age of 14, I met my trainer, Bobby Boogaloo Watts, and it was history. From that point forward, I stuck with it. I essentially fell in love with the sport, and so much for that, it was history. The hatchet was born.
So you went to the amateurs?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I went to the amateurs. I put 4 years in with the amateurs. I won the Golden Gloves championships in the amateurs, and that was probably my biggest achievement in the amateurs. I would have loved to have gotten the opportunity to even compete to get to the Olympics, but I never made it that far. So for me, it was good to get that experience. However, I did train alongside one of your co-guests that will be coming on your show, Mighty Ivan Robinson. Mighty Man. Oh yeah. So he escalated and excelled in the amateur level all the way up. This guy's been all over the place. And so, it was good to see another one of my stablemates having been that respected in the amateur level to get that kind of recognition and to come from 23rd pound.
No doubt. Okay. Are you on Wi-Fi, by the way?
No, I'm on my laptop.
Oh, okay. It's just a little choppy. That's why I was asking.
Ah, okay.
All right, it's all good. All right, so you had your first Your first pro fight was in 1994, I believe.
My first pro fight was in 1989.
89? You sure? I'm asking you if you're sure.
Am I sure? Am I sure?
I'm asking you if you're sure. No.
Pull up the box.
No, you're right. It is 89.
Check the
It is
records.
89. I'm bugging.
Absolutely. And my first fight was at the Blue Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
And it was televised on USA Network.
Yup, it sure was. I'm looking right at it. I got your box back up. Damn, I said 94. What the hell? I was looking at something else. Remember I told you the guy, we're going to talk about Reggie Strickland in a minute, but I was looking at him. Man, so you go on a tear, and you ran into Robert Thomas. Okay, talk to me about him.
Well, first and foremost, we ran into this guy in a couple of different occasions. We couldn't get a clear vision of what this guy's fight record was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it kept coming back one record, then it was coming back another record. We overall knew that he was on the losing side, that he had more losses than he had victories. However that occurred at that point in time. But we knew that he wasn't a contender per se.
Right.
And so fight was accepted, and behind the scenes, and at that point in time during my career, having gone up against an opposition like that, there was pretty much no way in the world that I should have lost a fight against an opponent of that nature or of that status, which I didn't. Again, I clearly didn't. And any and everyone that viewed those fights, well, the first fight wasn't televised. So I got stiff, clean, crisp, and clear on that first fight. We got a rematch. The rematch was televised on ESPN. And upon that fight, where people got a clear chance for themselves see exactly how I was executing during the course of the fight, I threw probably 3 times as many punches as this guy threw and landed probably twice as many. Nevertheless, come to the scorecards, I lose by split decision. Questionable is not even in not even in the building for that matter. That's not even a word to even use. I was aware of what had been occurring, what was occurring at the time. The business portion of boxing at that point made its entrance, and I took the loss. And it hurt. It was a point where I was trying to get an understanding, but I did get some clarity. My trainer, Bobby Boogaloo Watts, had been telling me all along he is one that I would consider my father figure in boxing, and I've always said that. He's had his hardships. He had his hardships throughout the course of his career, and was always schooling us on this is what you're gonna need to watch out for. This is what you're gonna need to beware of this, and he would tell us. That could not have been more clearly executed than those 2 losses and how things began to transfer after that fight. It was clear as day. It was like, damn, really? Okay, all right, back to reality. And for me personally, up until that point, the way I look at it and the way how I feel, the style that I had maintained as a boxer slash fighter, I changed that immediately. It was like, you know what? The hell with trying to establish a jab. The hell with trying to set guys up with combinations and being a counter. I said, you know what? From this point forward, I'm going to try to kill every and anything that's on the opposite side of that ring. And I began to train like that. I began to focus on putting more power shots into my aggression. And it was a it was a totally different me that began to show himself after that. If you follow my career, you would notice it because you can tell by the way I was dominating my opponents.
Well, that's why I like to that's why I like to talk about the losses, because I'm more interested in how you failure is a part of life, but failing forward is a technique that we learn. And I noticed you had those 2 L's in a row, and I wanted to hear you explain that. What you just said, I never knew, and a lot of the supporters never knew. But if you go to the box rec, you went on a tear after that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And for the most part, it was a reformation of myself, and it was a rededication, a recommitment, and it was just me. Look, man, the sport of boxing, first and foremost, I absolutely fell in love with. It enabled me to acquire and attain a lot of things, if nothing else, but self gratification of me just feeling like I'm achieving and acquiring and accomplishing something. After those 2 losses, and I began to go on a tear, it was essentially the true me that was showing himself. I recommitted myself, and for the opposition that was on the other side of the ring, I was dominating them guys, man, and it felt good. I never got to the point where I was big-headed or egotistical or anything like that. But, I knew that my victories were coming as a result of the hard work and dedication and commitment and sacrifice that I had been putting in throughout training to get those victories. So I felt good about it.
Awesome. Salute to self-realization in that super chat. He says, salute. Brewer fought my old coach, Frank Rhodes, back in 96. That name sound familiar?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, we fought for my title, a USPA title, yeah. And that was probably, I mean, it was a good fight, but I completely dominated. I came into that fight and was full steam ahead, and all systems were go. I was very well prepared mentally and physically, and for me, it had always been the mental part that outweighed the physical, because my mental was like, and I have a word for it. I call it mentellect, and which is my mental capacity incorporated with my intellect that I display in that ring, and I applied all. I give it my absolute all for those 3 minutes that we're doing battle, and in that particular fight, I felt so dominant, man. It was a good fight. We had a little grudge, and we had our stare downs and so on and so forth. But when that bell rung, it was party time, baby. I was ready to whoop ass and take names later.
That's what's up. Batman,
Yo.
you got any questions?
Nah, I'm looking at his fights now.
Oh, you don't pull them up. See, that's why you love YouTube, man.
Scotty, Pemberton.
Scott Pemberton.
Yeah, Pemberton.
Yeah, Scott Pemberton. Yeah.
Yeah, Like you said, he started walking people down, catching and shooting. He wasn't doing too much boxing. He stopped. He stopped him. He beating the shit out of him in the second round.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, man.
Yeah, he really. I mean, from the first round, like you said, he stopped trying to set people up. He catch and shoot more. He try and really hurt you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was a reformation of myself, essentially that I made in the gym. It was my it was my mental attitude that was applied, and I'm talking about training. My man, look at for the people that know of me from Philly and have watched me train, I was a beast. You know, I don't, you know, I've never been one of those people that like to, you know, tap their own shoulders. That's not me. I'm like, it is what it is. If anyone has ever known me, they'll tell you clearly. Yeah, that dude right there, yeah, he got something for your ass. You don't wanna step in the ring with that guy. And so be it, man. You know, it was what it was. I gave him my absolute all.
Excellent. Indeed. Hey.
I like what you're doing. I like how you been. Squat to the inside, catch, touch the body, and you just start running punches off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, there had been a bit of a conflict with me training that way. My trainer, Bobby Boogaloo. Boogaloo's more so of a boxer. He's a pretty boy. He's a boxer style type fighter, and we got in quite a few little not big arguments or anything, but he wanted me to be more of a boxer, whereas I wanted to just destroy every and anything that was on the opposite side of that ring. Plain and simple as that. And the way I felt, like I said, I had victory taken away from me twice, and at that time it was like an introduction to the business portion of boxing, and I'm like, yo, I won the fight. I threw twice as many punches as my opposition did, and yet I come out the loser? What the hell is going on? So I made it my business that, okay, I'm gonna reform myself, and in that ring, in that gym for the matter, I'm going to train like a madman, and I did just that.
Yes, indeed. Trick Notes in the building. What's good, bro? You can hear me?
I like when you get where you get to, you know your distance. You don't smother your punches. You don't smother your work or nothing.
Nope. Boxing is truly a science, believe it or not. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, with a lot of what I see going on today and today's fight, I mean, it's like I like to see the guys that use the true skill set, utilize their abilities. If they have the power, the strength, I like to see the ones that know how to use it and use it to dominate. You know, I don't like to see the guys like, well, to me, it would be a matter of, listen, if you got all these skill sets, these abilities, then why is the fight going to 10, 11 rounds when you could have dominated this guy and gotten him out of there maybe by the fifth round? And that's just me. You know, I understand it. For each and every fight, it doesn't work that way. But that's just me, man. It's just my nature.
Trick Notes in the building. Good, bro.
What's going on, man? Sorry I'm a little late, man. Tend to my daughter, man. How you doing, Charles?
What's up, bro?
Hey, man.
I'm
man.
finally on. Y'all caught up with me.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's all good, man. What's going on, Batman?
Hey, what's up, Trick?
Hey, not too much, man. Everybody in the chat, how y'all doing, man? It's good to see you once again. Good to see you, Charles. Thank you for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Charles, I heard you a little bit talking earlier about you said something about your two losses. You referred to the two losses you had over in Germany. You talking about those two? I had some. I
No,
had to see.
no, we were talking about Robert Thomas.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, man. I'm just
You
thought I was
know,
hearing things,
so
man.
so those would be the highway robberies in my lawful Lord. Speaking of highway robbery, anyway, uh,
Hmm.
that's a little bit later. That was a real highway robbery. Anywho, um, so that was early on in my career. It was a learning experience, and for me, it was more so introduction to the business aspect of boxing. And it was a learning experience, but nevertheless, I made best out of the bad. That's the way I'll leave it. I made best out of what happened. A bit after those losses, I think I had probably the two worst. Well, I ain't gonna say the two worst, but two of the bad experiences of losing during my career, and that would have happened in '94, quite naturally, with Lonnie Beasley and Raphael Williams.
Right.
Where I was in the case with Lonnie Beasley, I actually got caught with the perfect shot, and it was over.
That's at
Okay.
160.
Yeah, that was at 160. Um, I mean, quite a, and the next fight was Raphael Williams, and at that point, I shouldn't have been at 160 in the first place. I was weak as a lamb. But the Beasley fight, it was the perfect punch thrown at the perfect time. I take no, I make no excuses. It was what it was. Good shot. And not much to learn from it. I mean, other than keeping my hands up to protect myself, but the perfect punch thrown at the perfect time. Move on and continue to compete. But the Raphael Williams fight, I was killing myself to make weight. I mean, I couldn't even. I was unable to really execute the way I wanted to because I was drained. And you know, I tell you this: when I got caught with the overhand right, and I went down, if you'd have gave me a blanket and a pillow, you'd have been my buddy that night. I'm trying to tell you. Oh man. But nevertheless, man, like I said, those were learning experience early on in my career that essentially turned me into a beast. And I grew from those experiences, and I turned my career around. And as opposed to being the ass end of a joke, I began to be the center focus of a lot of boxing conversations in terms of someone being a top contender as well as a world champion.
Yeah, I see
What's
you
up,
slip
man?
like a 5 punch. You slipped like a 5 punch combination. He got mad and pushed you. That's crazy.
Shout out to Bruce Goes in that super chat. He said, "Can you ask the champ about the Echols fight?" He said that was fight of the year.
Oh my
Talking
God!
about Anton Echols.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about it.
Man, let me tell you something. I don't know what the hell this guy has between his ears, but I thought I had knocked it the hell out in that particular fight. Man, I was gunning trying to get, I was gunning trying to get every and anything in him out of him. And what should have happened was in between the rounds, my corner should have taken more control of me and the manner that I was fighting him when I got overexcited and began throwing punches that was leaving myself wide open and available to get counterpunched, which ended up happening. But in that particular fight, man, it's one of those fights where you can say I should have or could have won, and they gave him more opportunity. They essentially gave him the fight instead of giving me another chance. But look, I tell you this, I gained his respect from that fight, and that's most definitely, you know, you know. But when I look back at him, like if I could fault anyone for that particular fight, I would fault myself because I feel as though I had the skill set to beat him, and that's definite. And that's, you know, I feel that way right now. Skill set wise, he wasn't on my level, and I should have just, even with the knockdowns, I should have just continued on and continued on doing what I had been doing to set them knockdowns up, and even whether it be the next round or a few rounds later, knock them out. That plain simple as that. But I didn't. I got over excited, and oh my God, it was a history showed itself, and we all know what happened.
No doubt. Well, you participated into a classic fight.
Yeah.
Because for those that haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. You can Google it. That was a classic fight. I remember that.
Yeah.
But I want you to take me, and I know the chat might laugh and giggle at this, but Dusseldorf is a real place. Dusseldorf is a real place.
There it is.
And I want you to take me to Dusseldorf, where you fought Sven Otke. Is that how you say his name?
Sven Otke.
Yeah. Talk to me about that.
That was probably the most heart-wrenching loss I have ever had my entire career. It seemed as though I had acquired the world championship, began to get the world, and begin to get the ball rolling, and I was the first person that had ever defended the world championship at the legendary Blue Horizon in Philadelphia. And next up comes a guy from Germany who is 12-0. And I'm saying, I said to my manager and I said to my trainer and the promoter, I'm like, 12-0. I'm like, there ain't a fucking person in this world that's 12-0 that's gonna beat me. And you know, so we agreed to the fight, and here I am in Dusseldorf, Germany, fighting against, I don't know what the hell you gonna call this guy. To me, he wasn't no damn boxer. You know, it was hard for me to understand how, why, and I mean, he was pity patting me. I'm up here trying to knock this guy's brains out, and I had almost knocked this guy's head off in this fight. I had caught him with so many solid shots that hurt the guy, and come to the scorecards where, to me, it was a point where there shouldn't even been no score. He should have lost that fight by knockout. I beat the crap out of him. And I didn't have my title taken from me on foreign land. Now, there's quite a few reasons why. First and foremost, you know, at the time, again, it was a learning curve for me. And yeah, it was a hard way to learn, but I'll tell you this, it was, even with the loss, it was a loss that shouldn't have happened.
Right.
But if that loss was to have happened, there should have been stipulations indicating and outlining that there would be a rematch. Just, you know, and I made that clear with all parties involved. And
you said that. So what you're saying is there was a greater power involved in reference to how that ended.
There had to have been, because just in the mere nature of just judging a fight, and well, first and foremost, I'm an American coming into Europe. And
Right.
Not even close.
and I'll tell you what, anybody that has followed Svenarky's boxing record,
Right.
this guy was winning fight. He was winning fights against Europeans that he shouldn't have been winning, and all the reason being is because they were in Germany. Pretty much it.
Wow.
He was very boring, man. Very boring.
Absolutely. And so, like I said, it was a loss that should never have happened. And for that matter, I can look back at it and say it was a fight that should never have happened. And, had I been thinking, maybe it would have been a fight that if it was to take place and they wanted to truly risk, if they wanted to acquire a championship, I should have told them the only way it's going to happen is if he comes to the United States and not me having gone to Germany. If I can look back on and make that decision, that's the way it would have been.
Now I have the fight right here playing for the people to see.
Yeah.
This guy, I only had it up for less than a minute, man. This guy, I mean, I don't know, man. Home cooking.
Yeah.
Home cooking at his best. So you fought him twice. You fought him what, a year later, a year or two later? You fought him again?
Yeah.
Same result.
Same outcome. That was a hurt piece. It wasn't one of those things where, look, and this is what I'll venture into a little later when we talk about my other adversary, but if I'm on foreign land and I'm one of the kind of fighters, look, if you're better than me and you truly beat me, you truly beat me. All right, and look, I got my ass whooped, so be it. That's what Jay and I went for. And but if I have competed and have been dominated and been dominant in my competing, and I truly win the fight, then I deserve it. Unfortunately, we know boxing doesn't work that way. So, and it's the business of boxing, man. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is.
What did he go on to do? I don't even feel like box wrecking this guy, but what after what did he go on to do? Because I don't even recall this guy.
You know what? I couldn't really tell you. I damn sure didn't keep up with.
I think he retired undefeated, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think anybody beat him.
Probably.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
He did.
Yeah, and nobody beat him. He retired undefeated.
He had a fight against Robin Reed, and that was at the time one of the top fights of his career again. And Robin Reed's from Europe, and he beat him just as I did. Probably better, maybe. But he came out. He was the dominant one in that fight against Hockey, and he lost. And I'm saying, well, I ain't got a snowball chance in hell. Who wasn't in Germany, fighting this guy?
This guy, and let me tell you something. They're real specific. I just find it strange. I'm looking at his box rec, 34 wins, right? He only has 6 knockouts.
Exactly.
6.
Exactly.
And what I was pointing out in reference to box rec, they're really, really funny when it comes to these records. You'll see a fighter that'll say they have 50 wins and have like 30 KOs. But when you look at it in depth, those KOs are just all stoppages. And you wonder how many of those KOs, how many of those stoppages were for real.
Right.
And actual knockouts.
Right.
He has 1, 2. He has 2 actual knockouts. Actually, 2 knockouts.
This guy couldn't break a damn egg, okay? Man, please. He couldn't break a damn egg. Man. Like I said.
He's like the ball of Mal Nausea of Europe.
Yeah,
Some,
he's a
some,
Paulie Malignaggi of that era.
Yeah.
what,
Yeah, how about that?
But at least I could say Paulie fought actual names.
Yeah.
This guy. I mean, like popular guys that went on to like stardom, man. But
Right.
this guy couldn't bust a grape. He couldn't do anything. He got
Yep.
in and out,
That's true.
in and out.
That
Horrible.
is, yeah, that's true.
And how many fights? Wait, let me go back. Where is he? Let me go back. I want to see how many fights he had in America. None.
none. No.
That's all I was going to tell you that. No, yeah.
None. You see, man, I don't know what's going on over there. Well, I know what's going on over there. You ain't got to tell me. You ain't got to tell me. I know what's going on over there. You know, people fall. You can fall for the banana tailpipe if you want to. That's all good.
Again, it was a learning curve for me. I'm not going to venture into a couple of things that I just not going to even venture into. But it was a learning curve for me, man. One that with me now being a trainer and me working on my son, it ain't going to happen. I can promise you that it will not happen. If the opportunity showed itself as it did with me, there'd be some changes being made, and when all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, that'd be a totally different outcome. And I have to go the route of saying, look, I'm fortunate to have been given the opportunities that I have been given. Nevertheless, even on foreign land, I made a name for myself and found myself respected by a lot of fans of the sport, because the true fans of the sport understand and know what actually occurred on those evenings, or when I didn't get the victory upon when I should have gotten. So, in that nature, I feel good. But in terms of my belt being taken, dude, I got fought. Plain simple as that.
It's the bottom line, man.
Right.
Yep.
So, talk to me about Mr. Million Punch Around, Joe Calzaghe. Talk to me about that.
Let me tell you, man. That fight right there, and it's funny. And I didn't even know initially when the fight was being presented to me. I didn't know who the hell Joe Calzaghe was. I never heard of him. And then, he was saying he wanted to fight me and he was going to knock me out. And I'm like, does Joey know who the hell I am? So the build up for the fight, I'm like, who is this guy? So, I got to look at some tapes of him, and I'm, so okay, you got fast hands, but he slapped. You gonna slap the hell out of me? Like, please. I'll tell you, that in particular fight, I gained a lot of respect for Calzaghe. If there had been anyone that I can go around saying, with all the talk, he walked the walk, he would be the one. When we got in there, we got into a real cool, down and dirty battle, and we was going in. It was crazy because I just looked at that fight over again last week. His pop was chewing his ass out for the style that he had chosen, and my trainer was chewing my ass out because everything, the main things that I was training, and particularly for his style, I put that shit out the window. Like, man, we were going at it for 12 rounds straight, and I gained a lot of respect for the guy. As I didn't think, I was never hurt. They were saying he was this power puncher, and speed is power. Yes, I know that. But with that, he never really had me shook. And I was engaged, and so was he. We went at it. I think we gave you guys, the world, a very interesting, entertaining fight that evening. For real.
Yeah.
And when we both respect, we both reach out to each other to this day, every now and again. Online. As a matter of fact, Calzaghe gave me tickets to his fight with Roy Jones.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah, yeah. I still reach out in contact with him. We stay in contact with each other, but yeah, that was a tough fight. And looking back on it, I'll say, yeah, he had the goods. He had the goods. I'll tell him that
Well,
he bought it.
you did better with Joe than Roy did with him.
Absolutely, and wow.
Yeah,
Wow, man.
I mean,
even with Mr. Roy,
mhm.
he was one. He was the one that I wanted. Listen, Roy Jones, I don't give a damn how bad, fast, hard you hit. He was the one that I initially was after coming up through the rankings.
So that fight never happened due to the rankings?
No, listen. When I became the #1 rated super middleweight, Roy Jones was the champion.
Right.
I get the #1 ranking. So I'm on the phone with the promoter, and I'm like, "Yo, I'm here now. I'm Roy Jones. Roy Jones moves up to light heavyweight." And I'm like, "What the what?" I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me, man!" And from that point, I was like, "Well, what is there to be beaten? They might as well just hand the damn title over to me." But I've even told Roy, I said, I told Roy I seen him in New York. I said, Roy, it's funny. I said, I'm a fan of yours, believe it or not. I said, but I want some of your ass, brother. I'm like, I want some of your ass so bad, brother. And he just laughed, man. But it was a fight, and I know it would have been competitive. I can care less about. I was never fazed by none of those antics that he used. Man, look. I would have gotten in. I would have given everything I had to catch the guy on his chin. His chin had never truly been tested, and I wanted to be the first one to truly test it to see how he would stand up against some real competition.
When you saw Antonio Tarver getting off on him on the first fight, did you look at that and be like, "Damn"?
Well, how about
really could be
let me tell you about Antonio Tarver. What do you think Antonio Tarver had as the #1 sparring partner for that fight?
Stop. You serious?
Wow.
Get in touch with Antonio and ask him who was in his camp as #1 sparring partner for him fighting Roy Jones. It was me.
Oh shoot.
Oh yeah. me and Antonio was man. I came in the camp. I was trying to take this guy. I was trying to take this fucking head off in training. And
when you was in the camp, was you looking at Tony and saying, "You know what? He's really going to beat Roy"? Did you always believe that?
And listen, it was one way or another. Look, if he didn't beat him, it wasn't because of nothing that I didn't try to do. So if I'm like, listen, I gave him everything I had, knowing my style's not a Roy Jones style. Forget it. You're not gonna get that if you're looking for that from me. And I said the best thing I'm gonna be able to do is I'm gonna be throwing punches coming from every angle. And every second of every round, you have to worry about getting your head knocked off, and that's exactly how it is. And so, there had come a point early on with Antonio. He's a true boxer. He wouldn't engage, and I kept trying to. Antonio, come on, man, let's look. You're getting close quarter. I'm like, let your hands go. And he had to at one point just stop me and like, Charles, listen. I'm a boxer. I'm not. That's not me. I'm a boxer. And I'm like, yeah, you are. Okay, all right. Okay, back to the drawing board. That's the way it was. But I had to respect, his tactics and what he had been preparing to do for that fight. But he reached out to Antonio and asked him who was his number one sparring partner for that fight with Roy Jones. And when he caught him, I was like, I'll be damned. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, he caught that dude. Like, damn. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. I had no idea, man. That's a
Yeah,
gem right
yeah.
there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
Yep.
a gem.
Oh yeah. I was probably the one of the few first people that he had called and getting prepared for that fight with Roy. I was like, yeah, we come out there. I'm like, I'll be out there. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'll come out there. You come out, you preparing for Roy? Oh yeah, I'll be out there. Oh yeah.
So your last fight was against Olenga Mock, and they like dragging you to the other side of the damn planet.
Yes, Lord.
Get these fights on, man.
I mean, for the most part, I feel somewhat fortunate, if nothing else, to have been able to get the opportunities, the challenge for titles that are recognizable. I mean, that are true titles. But at that point, I mean, even the fight prior to, I'm like, that fight prior to that Lolinga Mock fight, my better days had been behind me. And I'm not one of those guys that's gonna go in and step in the ring for no payday. I'm always gonna go out and try to give my best performance. Have myself prepared and train hard for the competition. But you weren't looking at the person of myself that you would have seen 5, 10 years prior, by no means. So my better days are behind me. I was grateful that I've been in a position to acquire and achieve some kind of title, recognizable titles, earn a little bit of money at the same time,
Right.
and maintaining respect from the boxing community. But I by no means was the same fighter of even 5 years prior.
All right. I hear you. Now the game today, as opposed to 20, 25 years ago, what do you like now as opposed to back in the day, or vice versa? What would you change? You know what I mean?
I
What would you
think
do different?
I think the fighters of today have a lot more opportunities to make a significant amount of money for less commitment, I want to say, than what we did. I mean, in some particular ways, I mean, getting connected with the right promoter that can move you with the right opposition could find themselves in, getting ranked relatively quickly, getting placed in championship fights at a stage that could be very early on in their career, essentially becoming a somebody nobody in a sense. And by that I mean, a newcomer that doesn't really have the recognition internationally and nationally as one maybe a my time would have had. But they find themselves in this position where they're now a world-rated contender, possibly fighting for a world championship and or becoming a world champion. And I see a lot, some of that happening a lot more quicker in today's world than what it did during my time.
So I'm assuming that's a good thing for the person on the receiving end of good paydays and exposure. But is that a bad thing as far as experience is concerned?
Personally, I think it's a bad thing for experience, but when it comes down to it, and when you go through the logistics of it all, and you sit back and you say to yourself, what and why the purpose is it that you're boxing? Money. Money is a, and if you're able to attain that by doing less XYZ, having traveled, going this place or that place, but you can get it by being connected to this person, and they do the movement, and it may happen soon, and so be it. What's the complaint, you know? And so, you know, I guess with me, it's not. I'm not always for it. You know, I'm grateful to see the fighters who are making the money,
Mm-hmm.
And are healthy and
Yes.
are able to proceed in their careers and learn and really show true talent. That I like. I truly do like to see that. Um, you know, but I don't like that right now. I mean, I don't like to see the guys that are just. I mean, you know where they're coming from. You know, from the time the bell rings to the end of the fight. They're only there for payday, and it's unfortunate. And that part of the game I'm not tired of saying. But it'll never change. It's a sport of boxing. That's never going to change. There'll always be those particular type of opponents will always exist.
Yeah, you sounded a little choppy on that last part, just a little bit.
I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
was just saying those type of opponents that essentially are there for a payday. They're always going to be around. It's the name of the game. It's unfortunate. It's just it's the nature of the beast of boxing. So be it.
No doubt. So I know before we went live, we was talking about Tank last night. I want to go around the panel. I want to start with Batman.
What's up?
Tank last night. Your thoughts?
He did I mean, when he started working, he did a wonderful job, but he did what I thought he was gonna do, what I thought it was set up for him to do. Because if you looking at Barrios, his not his last fight, but his fight before that, he fought a guy that was in the Olympics that was 7-0 that I really thought he lost to.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked at the fight, I was like, all right, cool. He stays distance for a minute, but if you press the action, he's going to get tired, and he cannot fight in close quarters, or he don't have an inside game, and he don't have the defense neither. So once he start getting tired, he is going to be there to be hit. And Tank punch hard enough, and like I was saying all month when the fight was first announced, that I see why they picked him.
Yeah, that's what's up. I felt the same way. I felt the same way. You know, some early rounds. And I was talking with with Tay. He was actually in the building. The thing that I saw with that, Tank was at home. He was winning a lot of the drama of the fight. I mean, I know he dropped like 3 or 4 rounds early. But my thing was the judges. I mean, the arena really plays on judges. Although Tank dropped those first 3 or 4 rounds, he really didn't drop them, if you get what I'm saying. And the reason why I say that was prior, if I'm not mistaken, prior to the knockdowns, I think they still had Tank up in the fight.
He was
I
never
mean,
up in the fight.
they what?
He was never up in the fight in the early rounds.
That's not what the scorecards. Am I mistaken? Prior to the knockdowns,
I mean, they had him 3-1. I think I wasn't really paying. I was really looking at the fight hard and shit. I wasn't really paying attention to the scorecard. To be
yeah. I
honest
mean,
with
when it was over, I looked at it and I said, "Wow, they had him. They had Tank." Now, I think I saw it. Well, that was after the
you gotta
knockdowns.
look at it. He had a 7. He had a 10-7 round. Then he
Prior
had
to the 10-7 round, I think I gotta look at it. I could be mistaken, but I gotta look at it.
and then he started winning the rounds though. Out of that, like after the 10-7 round, he started winning rounds. So
He
you
was
got
winning the drama of the fight. He
yeah,
was winning the drama of the fight, and I have a problem. That's a judging problem. I'll talk about that in the future. But shout out to Barrios, man. He showed up and he tried to show out, but Tank closed that distance, and I guess the power's there at 140. I got to see it again though. I got to see it again. Charles, you watched it last night?
I did not watch the fight. I caught glimpse of the highlights of it, and from the highlights that I caught of the fight, part of it was touching with that looping hook and dropping with it, and dropping him again afterward, and once again dropping it. In my opinion, no, I'm not gonna say in my opinion, but I like Tank. I guess I like what was shown. You know, to me though, Barrios with the height, just the height alone, the reach that he had everything to beat Tank, if nothing else.
Yeah.
You know, if nothing else, a simple jab, a dominant jab, could have kept him at bay. It set Tank up all night. If in fact he knew how to use it and was using it. But the power and apparently the speed overwhelmed him. He got caught and was unable to recoup from it. And Tank took advantage of it and dominated. You know, good old time for that. And he didn't say anything about that. He did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. That was something else. Trey, go ahead, Trey. Yes, you had a question?
Yeah, I got a question for you, Charles. When you were fighting, and I was kind of thinking about this earlier, and when you were the IBF champ, do you think that Don King kept Frank Lyles and when he had the WBA belt, and Nigel Benn when he had the WBC belt, you think he kept them fighters away from you when you was champ?
It's quite possible. For the most part, I'll go to. There were not a whole lot of people that was knocking on the door of Charles Brewer when I was fighting. Plain simple as that.
True.
High risk, low reward type thing.
I didn't give a damn about not near one of them that existed. Whoever the champion was, whoever was the top contender, I didn't give a shit about none of them. Plain simple as that. And I made that very clear. So, if in fact there was a talent out there and the money was right, we could dance all night. Plain simple as that. You know, but those names never. They wasn't. Those names were not popping up. Nobody. There was no. Bro, had to got the title. Yeah, we coming to get that title. How bring your ass on? I've been waiting for it. But bring your ass on and bring your pocketbook along with you. And we dance all night. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I think that's a situation where a win against you would be really good on the resume, but a hard win where you spoil them and don't make them look like the rock star that they say they are, or if they go in there and mess around and lose to you, would really set them back about a good year and a half in their career. So that's more than likely why they avoided you, because you wasn't the cakewalk. You know what I mean? It wasn't a cakewalk. You was gonna go in there and you was gonna touch some of these people up. You were gonna touch them up. So it was easy to move around you. You was that guy, not a gatekeeper. But you was that guy, like, you know what? If I know for sure that my guy could beat Charles, then I put him in there. But this guy I'm trying to showcase my guy on Tuesday night fights. He fuck around and get in there with Charles Brewer in like around 10th round. My guy's in trouble. He only got 12 fights in. I'm trying to make a star of this guy. So not Mr. Brewer. Let's go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy you was.
Good analysis.
That's
that's exactly it. I mean, no qualms about who. I ain't giving a damn who the champion and who the top contender. If there was an opportunity that presented itself, whether it be for me to advance financially or to advance and become a champion, whoever it was that had that opportunity for me to be presented, I wanted to fight. Plain simple as that. That was it.
So outside of Roy Jones, which was a lot of guys' dream fight, who else, like in the prime of your career, who else did you look at and say, you know what, I want to fight that guy, and I know if I beat that guy, that's going to put me over, but you never got an opportunity? Who else could you think of?
I think there were a couple from who had the guy who had the WBC title. At one point, it was Robin Reed. I want to fight him. They were like, yeah, they were like, you can forget it. I think it was a guy named Talani Milan at one point. I think he had the WBC title.
But he beat Nigel Benn for it.
Yeah. So I mean, but standouts for the most part that I can clearly remember was Roy Jones. And it may have been, if nothing else but the shooter with that dude. I just, he was the hype at the time, and I was like, I wanted some of that hype. I'm like, look, man, I really want to be a competitor and not get my brains out. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And I meant that with all sincerity. That was it.
All right, Charles, can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Don't you think when everybody has a belt, when the belt spread it around, it should be a tournament for it can only be one face at the division?
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. People say that, but you don't understand though, in doing that, how much money there is that is involved in the sport. I mean, that never happened, by the way. I know there's people that are saying that and believe that and think that would never happen. The reason is because you got Lord. I'm gonna stick to the major four belts: the IBF, the WBL, WBA, and the WBC. You would never have that come to them agreeing saying there's only gonna be one particular title. Okay, and now if they did that.
No, I ain't say that. I said, don't you think when everybody has a belt, when it's 4 champions,
okay,
it should be a tournament for one person can have all 4 belts for there could be one champion at the time?
That's well, guess what? All right, so let me ask you this. So now to become a champion, you have to at one point haven't been a contender. So, and each one of those sanctioning bodies has a top 10 contender. So, if you are the number one contender by any of those parties, and you're waiting for the opportunity to challenge for a title, you don't want that held up or maybe never happen because the IBF champion is chosen to fight the WBC champion or the WBA champion is fighting the WBL title. You want your fair chance at an opportunity to become a champion. And, the business part of it seems like it would somewhat almost maybe make sense. Financially, it'll never happen for that reason. Because with the opportunities and the individuals being in contention, depending on who could become or would become a champion on those belts being united, in some sense, it may not even make sense to even have that happen. That is less than likely that would occur. Just as you see it's surprising now that you actually get to see champion versus champion. I mean, that's somewhat surprising nowadays anyway. To
But
see, one particular champion challenge the other to unite the two championships together is more. And then overall, the main reason to that is money. That's all.
they do it. Listen, they do it when it's in their best interest. Say if a weight division is a lackluster division, like it don't have no star there, that's when they try to do it to create a star. So y'all do it to create a star, but y'all won't do it to have better competition.
Well, name a division and tell me how.
140 just did it.
Okay, 140 just did it with um taking all the titles and having them being
Eh,
united to one particular fighter. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that's true. Now with that having been done though, what I'm saying for it to have got there because one champion already had a couple of belts and the other champion had a couple of belts as well.
Nah, it was four. It was
Well,
four. It was four champions. They had a tournament.
four champions fought each other to unite the one title. The one person ended up with all four titles.
Yeah.
And who's that champion?
You had Regis Prograde, Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, and Maurice Hooker.
Maurice Hooker.
Well, I'll tell you what. That would by all means be a unique situation, but I'm gonna tell you this again. Money is gonna be the overall obstacle.
Nah, they do it when they do it when the weight class is lackluster. When the weight class do not have a star and not that much attention to the weight class, they will try to build. That's when they start trying to build. They build the weight class up, trying to put the best competition together.
Yeah, what he's saying is the sanctioning bodies are picking and choosing when and where to do it, and that puts it's inconsistent for those sanctioning bodies to be doing that.
Yeah,
Confusing fans too.
yeah, because quite naturally that you're not gonna see that occur across the board. Forget it. It's not gonna happen.
Right.
If for nothing else, it would be because of the talent that exists in those weight classes. And yeah, you would love to see this fight. I mean, look, there have been so many fights that for how many years you wanted to see this champion fight this champion, they never happened for whatever reason. And some of it's business, most of the time it has to do with money, but they never end up getting in the ring and fighting each other. It, and, I mean, it's just the nature of the beast when it comes to boxing. I mean, you're not going to see it happen And I mean, if in fact it did occur in that particular instance, don't look forward to what happened across multiple weights because it won't, and it's not. It's just not.
Are you familiar with the franchise championship?
Not really. And franchise championship, would that be with the WB?
See, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something. First of all, look at it, man. Man, look. There are so many belts that exist nowadays. Trying to keep up with them is almost ridiculous, man. I mean, I looked through a couple weeks ago, and I was looking at the WBA and the WBC, and I'm like, you have got to be kidding. What the hell? I'm like, okay, so if I become a regular champion by the WBC, and I got my little happy little Dean Dalton, and they tell me, well, that's really not shit because you're not the top level champion. What is the WBC World Championship? You know, like I said, money is what's dominant and what is causing all of this for the most part, and controlling all of that.
Nah, that franchise it was to protect
Canelo.
Alvarez, but then other people start
Requesting
trying
it.
to get out certain situations. The fight they're mandatory.
That's right. And that's in a nutshell, that's what the franchise status is. It's a get out of jail free card. Because you don't lose it. That's what was said. You're not supposed to lose it. If you could have it and take any fight in any division that you can make and lose the fight, but not lose the status.
And that's crazy.
Yeah. So let's go back in time again, like you were saying. You were the number one contender for Roy. So Roy would have done that.
Yeah.
He took the franchise belt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You take the L, but you still come out victorious.
Nah, he would never had to fight you.
Yep.
Wow.
Accept that status and go around and do whatever you want. It's a get out of jail free card. And that trickled with a fan base that has unconditional love for that fighter, that are going to stand by whatever he chooses to do.
Yeah.
You got a recipe for disaster. And that's why things are messed up now. It's horrible.
Yep.
You know, there's so many fights we were supposed to have gotten with Canelo alone. And no one's holding them accountable. So if they're not, then that's just what it is. And Mauricio Suleiman says it's a great idea. Salute to my brother Skinny Kenny. He says, he says Batman is correct on that. It's only been unification in the 4-belt era at 140 and cruiserweight, and the very light divisions under 126. To be honest, the lower money divisions. This is true. Those low divisions, no one's really watching. Cruiserweight, people watch light heavyweight and then heavyweight. They don't really pay attention to cruiserweight. You know what I mean? Yeah. They'll do all of that funky stuff in those divisions where no one's paying attention. But,
no,
go ahead.
They try to get people to pay attention to it.
Say again?
They try to do that. Why they doing that? They try to get people to pay attention to it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They get away with that stuff.
Yeah.
It's, it's like, what the hell are we even doing? That's what I'm saying. We're like battered wives, man. We hate the sport and we love it and we come back for more. And they keep doing this stuff.
Yeah.
They keep doing it. They keep doing it, man. It's crazy. It's too many sanctioning bodies, and I know everyone's trying to get money. There'll never be, oh man, somebody's undisputed. That's 4 sanctioning bodies. That's 4 sanctioning fees. You're going broke holding those belts. I mean, really, you're going broke holding those damn belts, man. It's like, and those sanctioning bodies don't respect the fans. They don't, let alone the fighters.
Man, the promoters don't even respect the fighters.
Damn sure don't. But yeah,
Charles,
we
you.
here.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Charles, I got a question. Were you promoted by Russell Peltz?
Yes.
How was he as a promoter? Because I never heard anything bad about him. Never bad.
How would I define Russell?
Oh.
No, he was a pretty straightforward guy. Not he's not one of the badmouth fighters or other promoters for that man, and was relatively easy to work with.
Mm.
For the most part. I mean, it's crazy. Russell's one of them people that I could, go to his office anytime someone I have a talk. Like, listen, if and we've done this on quite a few occasions as well. If there had been a fight that we were trying to look to have happen, I felt very comfortable with going into the office, even if it had been by myself, although it had and wasn't. But going there and just sitting there and talking to him, just something like, listen, there's a bout that I would really like the challenge, and you know, I would like you to try to get this ball rolling to get this match to happen because I think there are a lot of people out there that would love to see it. And he was, he's one of the guys that you could sit down and really talk to and don't feel like you're being BS, for the most part. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever did any work with I'm gonna say this name because I'm curious at this point. Lou DiBella.
Yeah. Yeah.
How was that? How was that?
Was at the end of my career. My last two fights were with Lou DiBella. There's not a whole lot I can say bad about Lou. I mean, for the most part, look, the last two fights of my career, they were fights that I agreed to, and they were championship fights. So I was like, all right, you're giving me at this stage of my career an opportunity to become a champion again. And I wasn't breaking the bank, but it was for good money. So I did what needed to be done. But yeah, I don't know him enough to be able to say anything bad per se about him.
Yeah, the reason why I asked is because just by accident. Now I'm going to ask every time I have a guest on. Just by accident, we've had fighters on here, and somehow Lou DiBella's name he comes up, and he hasn't gotten a good report card.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Like I said, it very well could have been that way. With others, as I said, for the most part, look, I had my hand on the door now about to turn into lead boxing. The last two fights of my career, to give me an opportunity to challenge for titles and more recognizable titles, at least, and make my exit. So, in that sense, I can't say anything about it. I can't say anything personally bad about him. I wouldn't know it.
Oh, that's what's up, man. I got to ask that question.
Mm-hmm.
I always got to ask. Go ahead.
So what y'all think about the Lomachenko one?
I'm gonna let you go first on that because I was shocked.
I thought it was impressive. I thought the way T.O. fought him, I thought it was gonna be similar. But the man, he would never use his IQ, and I don't even think he just know how to, how some tall and big fighters, they have the ability, they got all the attributes, but they lack IQ.
Yes.
And that's what I thought Nakatani did. He lacked the IQ. he was just kept letting Loma get to his spots, and but it was much impressive by Loma, and I see why they did it. They tried to force the rematch with him and Teofimo Lopez on pay-per-view.
I got. Let me tell you something. Well, I'm gonna do something separate on that, but of course, y'all already know I got a problem with Tio, but I ain't got enough time here to speak on it. I only got a couple of minutes left, but I'll say this. Nakatani looked like he ain't fight a day in his life last night. All I saw was a jab in the right hand. Loma went in there and literally was dancing on him. I mean, he was doing the river dance on him. He was closing the distance, popping out. The man with shorter arms was out jabbing the Japanese fella, almost 6 feet tall. He closed the distance. He would throw a two-punch combination and step damn near behind him. It would still be hitting him with hooks in the face. It was brilliant. It was brilliant, and I was completely wrong. I picked Nakatani to win by unanimous decision because, number one, I genuinely thought that Loma was on a decline. So maybe he was telling the truth about that shoulder injury. But then again, styles do make fights. What Nakatani couldn't stop Loma from doing, Tio doesn't fight like that. So maybe Tio and Nakatani could have 100 fights and it'll look the same way. And he could fight Loma 100 times and it'll look the same way.
Yeah, because Tio won't stand in front of you, Loma not.
Thank you. And Loma showed that was boxing. That was boxing. Look, Loma regained my respect last night because Nakatani didn't win one round. And I'm going to tell you something else. Tio, he said he has COVID.
Oh.
He said he has COVID. Let me explain something to you. Again, where have y'all heard me say this before? You got COVID? I'll take you at your word. And y'all all know that I had a problem with Tio. I still kind of do. But I'll take you at your word. In this atmosphere, though, you don't want to put that out in the universe, man. That's a very dangerous thing. I lost 4 close people to me amidst this pandemic. 4. Literally seeing them and a week later, dead. No symptoms, nothing. They just dead. So I got something else that I want to talk about separate in reference to Tio in that thing. And it's hard for me to believe him based off of his track record already of BSing the public. And y'all know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to get back to Loma. He looked very impressive last night. And I heard that they already signed it for Tio to rematch Loma. So I'm a little confused. I got to do more research. Is the Kambosos fight off or is that going to happen? I don't know now. I need to figure this out. I need to do more research because I've been out of the loop for a few hours. But that Loma I saw last night, that's a problem.
Yep.
That is a problem. So that's my take on it.
But the Loma with Tio, he's not scared of his power.
He said what?
The Loma that fought Tio, he was scared of the power at the beginning of the rounds.
Yeah. I think he's past that now at this point. I think he's kind of pissed. But he didn't go in there, and which is what I thought he would do. I thought he would try and go in there and try and prove something. But he showed poise, and he came in there. He didn't try to beat anyone else but himself. He came in there and said, like, I'm Lomachenko.
But no.
I'm gonna batter this guy down and stop. And he did.
But you gotta look at the styles make fights. You gotta look at the Teofimo Lopez fight. He was cutting. He
might get there with Tio and look the same way. That's what I'm saying. He might get there with Tio. Look, go ahead.
Before Tio got tired, Tio was cutting him off. Tio wasn't letting him go to his right. Tio was cutting him off. So, and he really don't throw a hook for real. If you look at Lomachenko, he does not throw a hook. He throw like a little jab, like a little straight jab. He only throw a hook to the body when he get on that side.
He's a busybody, but if you can stop Lomachenko from damn near sidestepping you and damn near get he was damn near behind him off that step. He was literally behind him.
Yeah, he was turning.
Bing, 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 and then sidestepping, still hitting him. Clean shots.
Yeah, because if you turn somebody, they gotta turn towards you, so you get the punches. Why they trying to turn towards you? But you know.
I'm not even gonna lie. I was impressed. I'm not even gonna lie. I was impressed. You know,
Drew.
Yeah.
I got something. A guy named L Dubs had sent me something on not Facebook, but on Instagram. I don't know if they wanted this to leak out or not, but the guy that was I don't know if he was commentating the fight between Lomachenko and how do you say his name?
Nakatani.
Yeah, Nakatani. Yeah, he said that that Teofimo Lopez was in Italy vacationing with his wife.
Bro. I'm gonna do a video on it.
Oh, okay, all right.
And that's why I'm kind of angry. That's why I'm kind of angry because I got questions.
Okay.
If he got over, tell him to pull the paperwork.
Bro, see this kid. Do y'all remember when he went live on Instagram? He was talking about he sent a contract to Bill, and it just so happened that Bill was on Trill Boxing Talk that moment. And someone got in the chat and said, yo, Teofimo just said he sent you a contract, and Bill in real time checked his email and checked his fax machine. He said, that kid ain't send me anything. This is the behavior I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. And that has nothing to do with me saying he can't fight. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this kid lacks some integrity here, man. Now you got COVID. What the fuck you doing in Italy? On vacation with your wife.
No, they strict over there.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. This is why I got a problem with this kid. I need clarity. What are you doing? And I want to root for this kid. He's from Brooklyn. But what is that? What is that? What are you doing in Italy, my man? What happened? I need to know what happened. Was you training? But they said vacation in Italy. You're supposed to be getting ready for Cambosis. You know, the guy was supposed to fight how many weeks ago, but had to move the date because Floyd bum rushed that date. This is the second date, and then they're saying you can't sell no seats. You making these guys look like they're right about you. Come on, man. Yes, Slick Tom, Italy was hit hard by COVID. I know we're a little relaxed over here because we're so free. We're America, but across seas, they ain't playing that. We're so free. I think we had the most deaths. We're our free ass. Come on, man. Come on, Tio. I got questions, man.
That's boxing, Charles.
And this is what we dealing with here. There was no COVID, Charles. When you was coming up, you ain't had to deal with none of this, man. This is sick. This is sick. He said he had COVID. He didn't say he broke his pinky toe. He didn't say he had a hangnail. He didn't say he had a cold. They said he was on vacation in Italy with his wife. I said, wait a minute. Wait. Is he sick or he's on vacation? What? You see? Now you see, we weren't even looking for this, but it came out. You see what I'm talking about? Come on, man.
I don't think they want that to slip out, man.
We lost. Not Zay said Tio act like a Bronx nigga. No. You know what Tio act like, Naze? Tio act like a little nigga. I don't care what borough. Kings County, Staten Island, Queens, BX. He had like one of these little niggas. Not Zay. You know who I'm talking about. Because this is that new era. This is that new era of how these kids act. It's not exclusive to a borough. Because all of these kids act the same. Their bark is real big, but they're chihuahuas with megaphones. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it, man. But I'm a Judas said Washington Heights. Yeah, the Dominicans up there. I guess. I got questions. You dig? I got questions. That's all I was saying. I got questions. Everything was fine until the brother on Instagram sent me that. I was like, wait a minute. And I remember Bill Haney was on Trill. And then this guy goes live and he says, yeah, you know, I sent contracts to the Haneys. And he was like, wait a minute. I ain't get no I'm looking at my fact right now. What are the odds? You know, but this is what these kids do nowadays. Anyway, man. Yo, Charles, man, I really, really appreciate you coming on in the Strong House, man. I really appreciate you, man. You're one of those guys, in my opinion, you're one of the guys that they don't talk about enough. You was one of the guys that showed up. You was all business. You was I never remember a show where, you know, how the commentators are sneaking in like, oh, I heard he had a bad camp. Oh, I heard he's out of shape. Oh, he had a problem at home. I never heard that about you. All I heard about you was, all I saw was you showing up in all business, win or lose. And that's what boxing is.
Absolutely. Like I said, I lived boxing. Man, I loved it to death. And each and every time that I showed up, I tried to show out and gave my absolute all.
That's all, man. Oh, real quick. Are you involved in the industry in any way? Are you training anybody? Anything like that?
Training my son.
Oh, that's right. You did say that. Your son. Yo, plug your son. You know what I'm saying? What's he doing? When's his next fight?
His next bout is supposed to be occurring sometime in August, early August. We shortly should be getting confirmation of that, but we're prepping for a date of August 6th.
Please let us know.
Oh yeah, I definitely will.
Please let us know. Yeah, because we're definitely gonna support the young king. Definitely. Right. Definitely, man. Yeah, see, my boy Xavier, he just got it. He said Brewer versus Echols, one of the best fights ever. Everyone remembers that fight. Everyone remembers that fight, man.
And that was a good fight. It was a fight I should have lost my head a bit in that. I should have been more controlled. Just held back a little bit and finished off what I had begun. And as a result of me not doing so, well, we all saw what the outcome was, which, in some people's opinion, wasn't a good outcome in the first place. So I, you know, for the most part, I fought myself on that one.
Hey, you look good in that Scott Pemberton fight too, man. I talked to Scott Pemberton, man. He got a lot of respect for you.
But yeah, Scott, he
same man.
He communicates with me on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a good rumble too, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I give Scott, you know, a lot of respect for it. He bought it.
He got tired in that 5th round. He just hurt you, but you came back. And started dogging and stopped him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Scott was a dog, man. I don't recall seeing any fight with Scott that wasn't exciting.
Wow.
I'm telling you, man.
But Scott one of them fighters too that he don't have too much head movement, no good defense, and later on in the fight you gonna get to touch him with mostly everything you throw at him because he's right. He stays center.
Didn't they have a DVD collection, the best of Tuesday night fights?
Yeah.
I think they did. Yeah, you know what? I think they did before they went off. I think they did.
Yeah, I recommend. I gotta find that, man. I gotta find that because there's some gems. Man, a lot of the fighters that we are fans of fought on Tuesday night fights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather fought on Tuesday night fights. Chris Bird, all of these guys, man.
Yeah,
Ivan
a
Robinson.
lot of the guys
Ivan
who are
Robinson.
big names now, a lot of guys that are big names now, or once was big names, came through Tuesday night fight.
Man, I miss it, man. I miss it so much,
Mhm.
man. I mean, the fact, as opposed to the 90s and the 80s, man. Man, I mean, now it's like pulling teeth, man. And we only want the guys that they put on this pedestal. We only want to see them fight the appropriate people in their division. It's like pulling
Uh,
freaking teeth, man.
Yep.
These guys don't want to fight anybody, man. They don't want to fight
Yep.
each other.
Yeah.
It's like it's ridiculous. I'm like, yo, look, let me get this straight. I'm willing to pay my money because I want to see you test your skills and prove that you're the man. Why is it that I got 400 of your fans telling me that I just want to see you lose? No, I want to see you leave no doubt. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah.
I want to see you leave no doubt.
Yeah.
I want to see you leave no doubt. And then now you acting funny. And that was my problem with Teofimo. I want him to leave no doubt. You say you're the man. I'm watching you. You from New York, so there's a bias. And I'm rooting for you. And then you start acting all crazy. And now I got fans of his saying, oh, you just want to see him lose. No. I want him to leave no doubt. But now you're moving like this, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with you now? Today's boxing fan is crazy.
Man, everybody. I mean, I ain't gonna say everybody. Mostly everybody get to moving like that once they get to start getting a taste of that real. I'm gonna say that real money and that real fame of boxing.
Yeah. It's like pulling
Yeah, but
teeth.
I mean, but to me, that would seem to be a motivator to get more, though. I mean,
Excuse me.
that's the way I would work. I mean, and that's how I feel personally. If this is what got me to this level, then I'm gonna apply even more of it to give me more.
But
I want
listen,
more people to love me, and I want more money to be generated.
Yeah.
but listen, Floyd got this saying we going what do you say? We ain't working hard, we working smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
This shit
But
is crazy.
but the thing about it though, he's in a position to say that and say
Yeah.
any when people start making reference to Floyd Mayweather, I'm like, first and foremost, Floyd Mayweather was born with boxing gloves on, okay?
Mm.
And you mean I'm like, look, he's been there and he's done it from start to finish. So, you know, he's on a different level and he's the way that he expresses it now, you can't follow that pattern the way that he is now because you would have to go back to how he started. Like, you know, the person that Floyd is now, he's already built on a foundation. Everything is already structured, and he's already been through the hard and has been an achiever from the point of contender up to champion, multiple championships. Like,
I ain't
so
talking
you,
about his career. I'm talking about him as a promoter. See, this is what people don't realize. If you get with Floyd, it's gonna be he can make a superstar with anybody. He can pick somebody with good talent and make him a superstar and put him in there with lackluster opponents and make him a superstar because he just did it.
yeah, but guess what? Guess what? If that making anybody a superstar, that individual is going to have some level of talent and
I
skill.
I
And
said
first
that.
of all, to even get the interest and attention of a Floyd, I would assume that person's going to have that. But this is a sport of boxing, so you're going to have to execute and be able to day in, day out, prove who you are, what you're capable and able of doing going forward with Floyd. Yeah, he can do a whole lot for you. I don't doubt that. Nope.
No, listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. All right, that's cool. I mean, I said he's not gonna look at you if you ain't got no talent. But what they do is you got all the talent and they put you in there with people that don't have the same skill set or a better skill set than you.
Yeah, that's what a promoter's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, that's what you paying them for. So,
Yeah.
essentially,
Yeah.
oh
I mean,
man.
So you
he ain't
think
supposed to
Barrios
come
is
out
well
the
scouted?
fight. Yeah, he's supposed to come out the fight looking at the opponent like, the hell you, man, what did you do that for? I whoop my ass. Like, right. I mean, no. Once you are in that position, yeah, you expect that from you because essentially you become a team and there should be some unity amongst the team. And with the promoter essentially or possibly being a team leader, yeah, they're supposed to look out for you for it to be that way. Exactly. I agree with that. Yep.
All right, so you shouldn't fight nobody
No,
with
I'm not
dangerous.
saying that. No, because what'll happen, the sport of boxing will turn against you
Yep.
because
Yep.
you can't you can't fake your way going through but for so long until somebody gonna say that's a piece of shit that I saw you fight the other night, and you need some true competition and show that you really truly have the skill sets to be in the position that you are. So it's only going to be but so long that you're going to be able to play that role, whether it be the promoter telling everybody how great you are and good you are. If you don't show out in that ring, then the hell with it. The fans are going to let you know, most definitely.
But I think Leonard Ellaby just did that this weekend. I
What you
mean,
mean?
Leonard,
You think that Barrios was well scouted?
yeah, yeah, most definitely. But what I'm saying is, Leonard Ellaby just told Josh Taylor, "You's not using nobody. You not bringing." I'm like, he told him you won't bring with, I guess what Barrios bring. How the fuck is this? I'm just saying it's the shit just man just be wrapping my head, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why I really don't really pay attention to the sport as much as I should be. But you know what I'm saying? Cause it's like wrestling now. This shit like wrestling.
No, I tuned out of wrestling a long time ago.
Yeah, but this
I,
box,
I don't even pay no damn mind to wrestling no more. But
man, go look at
in terms of boxing, first and foremost, you gotta it. It's going to depend on who you're getting that input from and who that individual is. So, if it's coming from one of the top managers or a promoter, more than probably they're saying what they're saying because they want who's ever out there listening, fans and all, to have a negative impression of who it is they're trying to down talk and a positive impression of the person that they're favoring. And essentially, they'll get around to trying to get you to be on their side by showing you X, Y, Z of what their fighter is doing or isn't really doing that we all know of. But for the most part, that's pretty much the way it is. I mean, you just gotta sit back and listen, and when you look back, when you look back over it, you'll be able to see. Well, all they were doing is trying to favor their own fighter over one other opponent. You know,
oh, I know the game. I'm just
it's
saying
common.
the shit is getting tiresome. It's like wrestling. It's like they picking and choosing. They are not. I mean, okay, you can pick and choose, but out a year, you only fight twice a year. Out a year, you should give the fans what the fuck they want. y'all keep on. Everybody keep on bragging about their fighter that he's the best. Everybody does this. He's the best, but don't none of these dudes show us they the best.
Yeah.
And then they want to get mad at me when I got excited when T.O. beat Loma, something that I said he could do. I said, bet. There's only one left. And he said, I'm already undisputed. I'm like, what is he talking about?
Mm.
He got some franchise status. So, whoa, that's not the real belt. That's not the real belt. And then, not to be outdone, Mauricio Suleiman is backing him up and saying that he is undisputed. So if he's undisputed with the franchise status, what the hell did Devin Haney get in the mail from Lomachenko, who vacated it because he requested the franchise status? Yeah. How is this fair? And see, this is where the fighters have to shut it all out. And they have to say, you know what? I see what y'all doing. I'm going to get with this fighter because he's the real best and I'm the best. And we're going to get together and we'll fight on YouTube or Instagram or something. And we'll keep a majority of the profits.
But Canelo ain't trying to request it this time to make itself. They was just trying to give it to him. He ain't trying to take it to make itself look like, damn, that was De La Hoya. I wasn't with that shit. I mean,
I'm so upset with this.
This shit is so fake, man.
It is fake. The fighter, I pay to watch the talent. I don't care about what the managers and promoters are doing. I don't understand why Eddie Hearn has a fan base. I don't get it. I don't get it. Listen, Don King, we all knew him, but did Don King really have a fan base?
Nope.
He was just a mouth with a funny looking hairstyle.
Yeah.
That's it. But he didn't have a fan base. These promoters be trying. Eddie Hearn has a fan base. Does Bob Brown have a fan base?
Nope.
I don't get it. I pay to see the talent. I would rather Cash App the fighter my $100 for the pay-per-view, as long as I know that he's going to take that and say, look, I'm fighting so-and-so, Cash App me $100. I need 50,000 people to Cash App me $100. And if it's a fighter that I really want to see the fighter fight, I'm going to Cash App him. I want to cut the middleman. These fighters could cut the middleman. Cut the middleman if you really want to do it. I mean, Floyd already showed us these belts don't pay the bills. Do you know Carlos Baldomir won a belt and had to give it up because he couldn't afford it? You understand? It was a fight. I think it was against Zab Judah. He was supposed to lose that fight. He won, but he couldn't afford the sanctioning fees. He gave the belt up. This is what I said, well, damn, how much is a sanctioning fee?
I don't know what kind of math they was doing.
Man.
Somebody need to go back to school.
It's crazy.
I really don't know what kind of math they was doing, bro. For real on that one.
Hey, Charles, I had a question, Charles. When you were a champion, how much percentage did you have to pay the sanctioning fee, IBF?
I was sitting there thinking the whole time when we were talking about that. It is a percentage of what the fight purse is, but that direct, I don't recall exactly what that percentage is.
Say 2-3%, maybe.
Yes, I'll say around it. Yeah, it's around it. Yep.
Okay, so Canelo, how much is Canelo paying? I heard Canelo's paying like 10%, something like that. What's the word on that?
I really don't know. But
no, I know you don't know, but I was asking Drew or anybody in the chat may know how much Canelo is paying the WBC basically to keep Charlo off of him.
Well, look, let's play a game. This is for Charles and Batman because you guys will know. All right. And anyone in the chat, I know Xavier's in the chat. Anyone that knows, help me out here because I'm asking because I don't know. Charles, I'm gonna throw a number at you. Let's just say you fought Joe Calzaghe. Your purse was $300,000. Okay, let's say you won that fight for whatever title, the IBF Boogaloo Nebraska title, whatever the hell. So you win that title. Now they want 4%. They get it. You got to pay your trainers. You got to pay their hotels and flights and people carrying your bags. The guy that had to make your gum shield. Out of 300,000, when they're done with you, how much are you really taking home?
I couldn't give you a definite figure. But I put it like this. In my case, that damn sure ain't happening. But I'll tell you right now, yeah, you do have sanctioning fees, and yeah, you got the manager and the trainer. But it varies. It first and foremost, there is no finite percentage across the board as to what. Okay, promoters, trainers, and managers. There's a percentage, but everything inclusive and added to that, it can vary. There is no so it's going to vary for one reason or another between whomever party it is. I mean, if I could tell you, yeah, if you got $100,000 and what you're gonna end up coming home with is $40,000, some people probably would say, "Wow."
Yeah, we've heard some stories.
For some fighters, yeah, that may very well be the case. You know,
you better have a bunch of kids either.
Right. But yeah,
I remember Iran Barkley was on the Howard Stern show years ago. And Howard just started asking him basic questions about money, and you slowly see Iran's face start to change. Like he didn't realize how much money came through his hands and where it went. And it was like, oh, he was like, oh, wait a minute. I did make, wow. Iran Barkley saw a few mil.
If you're a champion, 2% go to the section body. Mm-hmm. You might got to pay your manager 10%. You might have got to pay your coach 10%.
Damn.
Then the rest yours. So you know what I'm saying.
So if you make 100,000, you got the IRS.
Then you got the
IRS.
They tell you to withhold 8% of your earnings just for the IRS. You know, you got to have those books under control, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, damn.
But, that's not uncommon in the sport of boxing, where you have a lot of athletes that don't do that. They don't take time to do those kind of mathematics when it comes to their person, and throughout the course of their career, a lot of them don't, and probably wouldn't even understand if you try to sit and explain to them what those figures are, why they're being taken, who's actually taking them, and when they're being taken. So, yeah, it's deep.
Damn.
Yeah, it's real deep.
It's
like no matter what, you got to be your own advocate to a certain.
Yeah, you got to learn it on the outside. That's why I'll never fault a fighter for trying to get their money. But at the same time, you chose this sport, and we're paying to be entertained by it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I mean, it's a catch-22, man.
Yep.
Well, I'm about to close it up, man. I'm gonna go outside and do some running. But Charles, man, thank you so much, bro. You have an open invitation.
Yeah, no problem, man.
You know what I'm saying? Gonna have you back to discuss, before the big fight. I didn't even get a chance to cover that, but that's all good. Batman, let them know how they can find you, brother.
You can find me every Sunday on Drew Titan at 7. And man, catch me on IG, or sometimes you can catch me on Everything Boxing during the week, man. I'll be over there with them sometimes, that's all.
Don't diggity doubt. Trick Note in the building. Let them know how they can find you.
You can hit me up on Facebook. I'm Anthony Carter on Facebook. I'm Trick Nolte on Trick_Nolte on Instagram. And I'm on here with Drew on some Sundays, man, with the legends.
That's
Cool.
right.
And
Charles,
you finally got me, man. You finally got me. All right.
no,
Yeah.
no doubt. Yo, your son got an Instagram?
Yeah, he does. And you know what? It might be Charles Brewer. I gotta take a look at it.
Shoot it to me on Facebook, Charles.
Yeah. Say it again.
Shoot it to me on Facebook on the Messenger.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Come back and visit with us, man. We appreciate it, man.
I'm gonna do
You're
that.
a legend, man. That's why I reached out to you, man. Great fighter, man.
Thank you.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. As long as it's not no Charles Brewer.
So you want a promotional company too? What you call it? Hatchet Promotions? What you gonna call it?
Wait, I found it. Charles K. Brewer Jr.
Yeah, that's
definitely him. Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all follow Chuck. I'll put that in the chat right now so everyone can find him. Everyone start following Charles K. Brewer Jr. I'm gonna put it right here at Charles K. Brewer.
Yeah, Charles, we'll get Ivan on, man, but he had some stuff he had to take care of, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was going to say because Ivan's always gone. He has guys that he's training that have fights, and they're always gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, I know it's him because I see Steve Cunningham follow him. I know it's him. Yep, definitely.
Yep.
Yo, he look just like you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. he looks just like you. Hold on. Let me share the screen real quick. Let me share the screen real quick. Let me share the screen so y'all guys can see him. I want y'all to follow this young man and show some support.
Charles, you ever talk to Freddie Pendleton?
No, I think I may have only seen him maybe once or twice, and it was years ago that I've seen him.
Well,
I don't see him often.
Okay,
it's the young man right here.
Oh
There
yeah,
you go.
That'd be him.
Yep. There you go. So everyone go follow Charles K. Brewer Jr. on the gram. Got a fight come up as soon as he's coming up. Hit us back. We get him on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I definitely will.
And leave it to us, man. We got him.
All right.
Know what I mean? Yo, much love and appreciation to the chat. Much love and appreciation to all of y'all. Charles, you have an open invitation. You're welcome here anytime. Anytime, my brother.
Cool. I'll be back.
No doubt. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, now.
That's the show. I'll see y'all later.
Peace.
All right, Charles, I'm gonna get up with you.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, peace. All right, Drew.
Move!